There is a classic lie that modern media loves to feed us, that jungles are beautiful, pristine paradises meant for spiritual healing and exotic ecotourism. We see the colorful birds, the majestic waterfalls, and the lush green canopy. But behind that vibrant green mask lies the exact opposite. On this planet, there are dead zones spanning millions of square kilometers, where every single cubic meter of air, every single leaf, and every drop of water contains deadly toxins. In these territories, nature is not your friend. It is a ruthless, bloodthirsty hunter that treats humanity as an infection. Temperatures soaring past 40 degrees Celsius combined with a suffocating 95% humidity will drain every ounce of your strength in just a matter of hours. Your sweat won't evaporate, your core temperature will skyrocket, and your organs will begin to fail. Here, one single misstep means an agonizing death, and the concept of rescue does not exist. Today we strip away the romantic illusion and expose the 5 jungles known as the green hells of our planet. Places so hostile that even the most elite military forces and hardened survivalists turn around and run. We are going to dive deep into the terrifying science, the gruesome history, and the unexplained mysteries of these forbidden lands. Buckle up, because we are marching straight into the epicenter of fear. Our first stop takes us to northern Australia, to the Daintree rainforest. This is not just a forest. It is a prehistoric time capsule over 180 million years old, making it older than the dinosaurs. This ecosystem has spent eons perfecting its weaponry, evolving into a perfect biological trap. You are walking on ground that has remained virtually unchanged since the dawn of time, and if you step just 1 meter off the marked trail, you will vanish forever. The dangers here are both massive and microscopic. In 2017, a horrific tragedy shocked the nation when a woman carelessly decided to take a late-night stroll in the shallow waters of a Daintree river. She never saw the eyes watching her from the mud. A massive apex predator weighing over 1,000 pounds, a saltwater crocodile, attacked with crushing, lightning-fast force, dragging her into the black depths before she could even scream. But the waters are not the only place where death waits. Let's talk about the Gimpy Jimpy plant, locally known as the suicide plant. It looks completely ordinary, but its wide leaves are covered in millions of microscopic silica needles injected with a vicious, heat-resistant neurotoxin. One hiker accidentally brushed against it while slipping. The pain was so ungodly that doctors later compared it to being sprayed with hot acid and electrocuted at the same time. The toxin locks into the pain receptors, causing the agony to flare up for months or even years every time the skin is exposed to a temperature change. If the plants don't get you, the wildlife will. Meet the southern cassowary, a flightless bird that is the closest living relative to the velociraptor. When an aggressive cassowary cornered a local man on his property, it didn't back down. It charged straight at him, leaped into the air, and delivered a devastating kick. Armed with a dagger-like inner claw 12 centimeters long, it sliced through human organs, ending his life in seconds. Local Aboriginal tribes have treated Daintree with superstitious dread for thousands of years. Speaking of invisible forest guardians that purge outsiders who break the silence. Today, modern science gives us a reality that is just as terrifying. The humidity and unique soil bacteria here are so aggressive that a simple scratch from a twig can turn into a flesh-eating, gangrenous wound before the sun goes down. Look at a global map, and you will see a narrow, delicate strip of land connecting North and South America. Legally and geographically, a highway should run straight through it, but instead, there is an 11 million acre deathly black hole of lawless swampland and impenetrable jungle known as the Darien Gap. This is the only missing link in the iconic 30,000-kilometer Pan-American Highway. Why? Because 21st century engineering utterly collapsed in the face of this swamp. The history of the Darien Gap is written in human failure. In the late 1950s, the Chevrolet Motor Company arrogantly attempted to prove their modern heavy-duty off-road vehicles could conquer any terrain on Earth. They launched an elite, heavily funded expedition into the Gap. The result was utter, soul-crushing humiliation. In a single day of brutal, back-breaking labor, the team could only advance a few hundred meters. Soldiers and engineers literally had to carry the multi-ton trucks by hand through knee-deep, cement-like mud while hacking away at a wall of vines with machetes. Tropical fevers, malaria, and pure exhaustion broke the crew. Eventually, the multi-million-dollar machines were completely swallowed by the swamp, abandoned to rust away as monuments to human arrogance. Today, the Darien Gap is a ghost-filled highway for desperate migrants chasing a better life. The jungle trails are littered with discarded clothes, rotting backpacks, and heartbreakingly children's toys, left behind as markers of pure human despair. Those who survived the crossing speak of the jungle's disturbing acoustic effect. The suffocatingly dense canopy traps and distort sound, making people hear phantom voices whispering their names when no one is there, driving them into paranoid madness long before starvation sets in. The physical environment is a living nightmare. The humidity is a permanent 95%, meaning your clothes are perpetually wet, and within just 72 hours, your leather boots will literally rot and fall apart off your feet. Underneath the mud lies the fer de lance, a highly aggressive pit viper whose hemotoxic venom causes instant tissue death and internal bleeding. Combined with flesh-eating botflies that drill into your skin to lay eggs, the Darien Gap is not just a forest. It is an active, biological meat grinder. Deep in the isolated waters of the Indian Ocean lies an island wrapped in ancient terror. On North Sentinel Island, time didn't just slow down, it completely stopped 30,000 years ago. There is no electricity, no agriculture, and no internet. The indigenous tribe that rules this jungle refuses all contact, and any gesture of peace from the modern world is met with a hail of bloody arrows. The modern history of this island is paved with blood and warnings. In 2018, a young American missionary named John Allen Chow believed he was destined to convert the tribe. He spent months planning, studying, and eventually hoi lo local fishermen to smuggle him past the Indian Navy's strict exclusion zone. On his first attempt using a kayak, he held up a Bible and shouted messages of peace. In response, a Sentinelese warrior fired an arrow that pierced straight through his Bible. Any sane person would have taken that as a final, absolute warning. But John's obsession drove him back to the beach the very next day. He never returned. The fisherman later watched from a distance as the tribesmen dragged his lifeless body across the sand. To this day, the Indian government has forbidden any attempts to recover his remains, because any landing party would face a brutal, all-out war with a people who know no mercy. While internet rumors claim the Sentinelese are bloodthirsty cannibals performing dark rituals deep in the mangrove forests, the biological reality is far more tragic. The greatest threat on North Sentinel Island is entirely invisible. It is their immune system. Because this tribe has been genetically isolated for 30 millennia, they possess zero immunity to modern pathogens. A single common cold virus from a tourist's breath could wipe out the entire crace within 2 weeks, acting like an accidental weapon of mass destruction. The jungle itself acts as a flawless military defense system. The island is ringed by a chaotic labyrinth of mangrove roots that are so tightly intertwined, they form a natural wall of wooden spikes. At low tide, the island exposes razor-sharp coral reefs that RIP boat hulls to shreds. It is an evolutionary fortress where nature and primitive man have combined forces to keep civilization at bay. If you think you have seen a dense forest, you know absolutely nothing until you confront the Congo Basin of Central Africa. This is a massive green ocean of shadow spanning over 1.7 million square kilometers. The ancient multi-layered canopy is so thick that sunlight has not touched the forest floor for centuries. You are forced to trek through a perpetual, suffocating twilight, stepping through black, stagnant water and thick layers of decaying organic matter that emit toxic methane gas. For centuries, the Congo has been a meat grinder for foreign armies. In the 19th century, heavily armed European colonial expeditions marched into these jungles with hundreds of elite soldiers and modern firearms. Months later, only a handful of living skeletons staggered out of the trees. They weren't defeated by enemy tribes. They were utterly destroyed by invisible diseases that the medical science of that era could not even classify. Entire military units simply vanished into the green abyss without leaving a single diary behind. Even today, the Congo remains a terrifying blind spot on our global medical map. International doctors operating in remote river villages frequently encounter sudden, localized outbreaks of hemorrhagic fevers that are completely unknown to science. Medical teams often discover entire settlements wiped out by pathogens that cause fatal internal bleeding within 48 hours. So fast that scientists don't even have time to isolate the virus before the host dies. The locals survive here by following strict taboos, terrifyingly whispered around campfires. They speak of the Mokele Mbembe, a massive sauropod-like beast rumored to stalk the unexplored swamps of the Likwala region, capable of crushing fishing boats and drowning entire crews. But what terrifies seasoned guides the most are the zones of absolute silence. Suddenly, without warning, all birds, monkeys, and insects go dead silent. The air becomes heavy. You can hear the frantic pounding of your own chest, and you realize with absolute certainty that 1,000 invisible eyes are hunting you from the shadows. Science confirms that the Congo Basin is the cradle of bioterror. This extreme heat and near 100% humidity create the absolute perfect natural incubator for the deadliest viruses known to man, including Ebola and Marburg. But the jungle doesn't just destroy your blood cells, it utterly crushes your psyche. The complete lack of a horizon, the eternal darkness, and the overwhelming claustrophobia break the human mind, inducing severe clinical depression and uncontrollable panic attacks in less than 7 days. Finally, we must face the undisputed king of all green hells, the Great Amazon. Spanning an astronomical 5.5 million square kilometers across 9 nations, this is a realm where the sheer, mind-boggling scale of nature will crush any human ego. This jungle is so vast that it dictates its own weather patterns, and its river system holds more water than the next 7 largest rivers combined. It is an endless ocean of green, where every step could be your last. The Amazon is famous for swallowing legends whole. In 1925, Colonel Percy Fawcett, the British military's most decorated and experienced surveyor, ventured into the uncharted wilderness of Mato Grosso to find what he called the Lost City of Z. He marched into the tree line with his son, and they were never seen again. Over the next century, an estimated 100 explorers lost their lives or disappeared into thin air just trying to locate Fawcett's bones. The Amazon simply swallowed them all without a trace. But here is the mind-blowing twist. Percy Fawcett was right. In recent years, archaeologists using satellite-mounted LiDAR technology fired billions of laser pulses through the heavy canopy. What they discovered shook the scientific community to its core. Buried beneath the roots are the remains of a vast, urban megalopolis featuring advanced grids, complex highways, and massive water canals. A highly advanced civilization of millions once ruled this land, but when they died out, the jungle reclaimed absolute sovereignty. Today, that ancient kingdom is ruled by monsters. While Hollywood focuses on giant 15-meter anaconda snakes that can swallow a deer whole, real survivalists fear the tiny terrors. Watch where you step, because a single sting from the bullet ant inflicts an agonizing, burning waves of pain like being shot by a gun. A torture that screams through your nervous system for 24 agonizing hours. And then there is the nightmare of the Amazonian waters, the Candiru fish. This tiny translucent parasite is attracted to the scent of urea and is capable of swimming up a stream of human urine, lodging itself inside the human reproductive tract, using sharp, backward-facing spines. Once inside, it feeds on your blood, and it can only be removed through critical surgery. Combined with the native use of curare poison, a plant extract that causes total respiratory paralysis in minutes, the Amazon remains a place where humans are nothing more than prey. These 5 green hells stand as living proof of one undeniable truth. Nature does not belong to us. It has spent millions of years perfecting its defense mechanisms against our technology and our greed. We are not the masters of this planet. We are merely temporary guests, allowed to exist by its mercy. If these dark, untamed mysteries sent a genuine chill down your spine, show your support by hitting that subscribe button, smashing the like button, and turning on the notification bell so you never miss our next descent into the unknown. Now, I have one question for you. If someone offered you $1 million tax-free, would you dare spend just 1 week trying to survive in the heart of any of these jungles? Drop your choice in the comments below, and I will see you in the next breathless adventure.